Now, we also have a vacancy in the office of Lieutenant Governor. My friend Jeannette Nuñez, who served the state well for the first term and a half, received I think she thought it was a promotion, and I guess it depends on your view, but she's got a great position as the president of the Florida International University, and she's hit the ground running, and she's done good. And so that was many months ago, but I told people I want to get through the legislative session, do the budget, and we did that. It took us really to July. And so we've spent particularly the last many weeks talking to various people, doing the vetting that we need to do. What I was looking for is someone that can be Lieutenant Governor that will help us deliver more wins for the people of Florida, and then also that is capable of serving and leading as governor if that need were to ever arise. And I was very insistent on two things. One, you have to be strong on policy, and you have to have a record of delivering big conservative results. You got to have a foundation of conservative principles. Rudderless ships will never find true north. And it's very important that people bring with that, because we can talk about issues right now, a year from now, into the future. You don't know what's going to throw your way. So what are you going to look to as your frame of reference as you tackle big issues? And I can tell you, I would not have been able to steer the state through COVID like we did, more successfully than any other state, if I didn't have that solid philosophical foundation, starting with faith in God, but also, importantly, understanding the constitutional principles that made this country great. And the second thing is, you need somebody that's going to run towards the fire. Don't sit on the fence. You got to be willing to lead in these positions. And you have to recognize leadership has a cost. When you lead, when you get things done, people come at you. They smear you. They attack you. They lie about you. That's just the world we live in. And you got to be somebody that's going to be willing to stand up and lead and fight for you, knowing that there's going to be people that don't like that. Now, Jay Collins, our senator from Tampa, has served in dangerous missions as a Green Beret, really around the world, but particularly in Iraq and Afghanistan. He served with distinction and integrity in some of the most high-octane type of combat missions you can have. He was wounded in action and earned a Purple Heart. He's also been awarded the Bronze Star and the Legion of Merit, among other many significant military decorations. And now eventually, because of his duty, he ends up losing one of his legs. And I think most people at that point would simply take a medical retirement and move on to different segment of life. But Jay decided to re-up as a Green Beret using a prosthetic leg. How many people would do that? I don't think very many. As our state senator from Tampa, he's been a man of action. He has delivered conservative wins, and I think has been one of the most productive senators we have had in modern Florida history. And on all the big issues, he not only was an ally of mine, he was standing up for you. When we have natural disasters strike in the state of Florida, yes, we're managing all this stuff, doing this. Jay Collins is on the ground feeding people, first responders, displaced residents through his charitable organization, and he does it very well, not necessarily seeking the camera, but just seeking to make a difference. More recently, when we had the IDF-Iran conflict break out, we had a lot of Floridians that were stranded in Israel. The airport was shut down, rockets were raining. I authorized rescue missions through the Florida Division of Emergency Management. We were able to bring hundreds and hundreds of people to safety. And, look, I directed, I authorized, and I supervised that. But I did that from Tallahassee. Senator Collins went to Israel. He was in Jordan. He was in these countries in the middle of the war, personally helping to rescue his fellow Floridians and fellow Americans. Senator Jay Collins is the Chuck Norris of Florida politics. And I am proud to announce today that I am appointing him to be the next Lieutenant Governor of the free state of Florida. Hooah! Now, I also look, deeply at people's records and what they've done. And one of the things about being a Green Beret, and I know many of you here know this firsthand, is, they take pride in being the first ones in and the last ones out. They're silent professionals, like other special operators in different services, but they do oftentimes clandestine missions. There's no fanfare, no boasting. All they're trying to do is achieve results. They are not seeking recognition. That is the epitome of putting service above self. And if you look at Jay's distinguished record, he has stepped up time and time again to do missions that very few people in our country would be willing to do. And politics has become so performative that we often lose sight, or some do, I don't think we have in Florida, lose sight of why are you really there. It's not to emote on social media. It's not to get on as many TV shows as possible. Jay embodies one of our core principles. While words can be meaningful, it is ultimately deeds that are the most powerful. You're in office to deliver results for the people that put you there, not to serve your own personal interest. And I think Jay's life story has been the embodiment of that. Florida has also been a proving ground for conservative policy. You can look at a state like California, honestly, naturally one of the most beautiful places you could ever be, all up and down that. You look at places like New York and Illinois and see people, they're hemorrhaging population. People are fleeing, and where have they chosen to flee to for refuge and for sanity and for freedom? The free state of Florida. We have shown that conservative principles, when applied to bold solutions and bold policies, work. That is something that is very important as we continue to have debates in this state and across the country. And I think Jay has amassed a conservative record that is second to none. He was one of the few folks that were standing strongly at the beginning of this year to say Florida must work with the Trump administration to finally end the illegal immigration crisis and to be partners in these removal and deportation efforts. He's been strong supporter of election integrity, 100% record on law and order. When you do the crime in Florida, you will do the time, and we will never embrace California-style weak on crime policies here in the Sunshine State. When I called on the legislature to ban the purchase of land by the Chinese Communist Party in our state, Jay wrote the legislation and got it done. He's been in lockstep with us on education reform. He's been a friend to taxpayers, supporting massive tax relief, and he's one of the strongest supporters of our proposal, which will be on the ballot next year, to give homeowners in Florida finally some property tax relief. He's been a supporter of our efforts to do historic debt reduction in the state of Florida. We've eliminated over 40% of the state's total debt over 180 years just since I've been governor. He's been a partner in our efforts to revitalize our natural resources, including the Florida Everglades, but also springs and other key aspects, as well as to improve and modernize Florida's infrastructure. And he helped us defeat the woke agenda in Florida, CRT, DEI, ESG, all in the dustbin of history in the Sunshine State because of our efforts. And here's the thing. If you haven't been willing to lead at any point in your career, you're not all of a sudden going to get into a high office and suddenly grow a backbone. It doesn't work that way. If you show me what people have done, if you show me that people have stood for the right things, you show me people who have sacrificed and who have led and who have run into the fire, then that's somebody that I think will likely be able to do that when they get elevated to higher office. But it's about performance and record and deeds, and Jay on that measure has amassed a stellar record, and I believe he will continue to be an outstanding leader in the state of Florida. And as I said, look, you've got to ultimately be able to handle this job if circumstances warrant that. And one of the things you have to do as governor of Florida, which may not be as important in some other states, many other states, and even some that probably don't have to deal with it as much as us, is to be able to manage crises like disaster response. And if you look at Jay, he's been in crises as active duty service member. He has personally, through his charity, gone and been a first responder, helping people get stabilized, helping distribute meals to first responders as well as displaced residents during all of our recent hurricanes. Ian, Idalia, you name it, he's there. Honestly, he's there before I get there sometimes. I'm like, how are you doing this? And he does. And then, of course, if you look at what he did in Israel, why would you want to go in to Israel when Iran is raining rockets down? Most people would take a pass on that. He didn't need to do it, and yet here we are doing these amazing flights and taking people out by boat. And I think we probably got probably 2,000 all in with the boats and everything. And he's on the first flight he can do to get there, and he has personally saved a number of lives just in that operation. And so that shows you somebody who's able to handle pressure, who's able to navigate through very difficult situations. So congratulations to Jay, his wife Layla, sons Gabe and Colt on his appointment to the Lieutenant Governor of Florida. And now, and with Jay's appointment, Florida will be the only state in these United States that has both a governor and a lieutenant governor who are military veterans. And what better state to have? So I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to elevate somebody who's earned it, somebody that you can trust, and somebody that you can be proud of. Our mission continues. We will lead, we will fight, and we will win for the people of Florida. Our goal is very simple: keep Florida strong. Thank you.